Hello, everybody. So, I think I can say some intro stuff without before anybody's tuned in, and that'll be fine. Because people might see it. We'll see it afterwards. I just have to do something really, really quick that I can tell the dog will be asking for. Okay. So, what inspired this video today? Whoop! Suddenly landed back on the image really quickly. What inspired back on the screen? I mean, I did come back in front of it, but it was just like when I came to the coach, like drop back in. I don't know. Anyway, what inspired this video today? And honestly, a lot of it will probably be viewer led. So depending on how that goes with this video, we'll see how the video is. Of course, there's always afterwards, like I say. So what inspired this video? It's actually kind of interesting what inspired it, and it's not entirely because I was at some chapstick for a moment here. Because I was at it wasn't only a career fair, but there was a few different things that were happening at it. An event the other day. Almost didn't find it, and I would have had to have just turned back around and came. I'm also going to grab myself another water. Just a moment. Sorry. And I know I almost feel like it. But at the same time, I don't want to be away from the screen, especially right early on. And welcome to the person that's just tuned in as we get this started. So, what inspired it was actually kind of interesting. You know how YouTube, and I'm curious how you came across this video, by the way. Did you search something? Did it randomly show to you? That's what happened today for me, and what inspired this. There was a video that a guy had posted that I'd never heard of before many, many months ago. As a viewer disappears. It's okay, whatever. Many months ago, maybe it wasn't intentional or poisonal. Many months ago, YouTube showed me a video of a guy. In fact, the video itself, I think, was at least a couple of years old. But I feel like it was under a year that it showed it to me, possibly twice, actually. And essentially, and he has recent posts, and actually, yeah, he does. He sounds a bit like Jeff, which is ironic because I've been thinking about not the one I might especially think about, but some Jeff from kind of around that time in high school and stuff. But anywho, basically, in this video, and I don't even think I've watched all of it. Like, I did go to his channel and look and seen that he had more recent posts, like I think 9 hours ago or something like that, 9 something ago, but not months. And basically, though, it was about not seeing a purpose to living, which is another topic, as well. And this topic itself could potentially get deep, but I just want you to know that if you are struggling with, thoughts of whether you want to still exist or not, please comment. Let me help you. Try to help you get through those feelings and to a better mental state. I'd be honored if that's what you're experiencing. Anywho, so basically, one of his videos that I just watched a little bit of, said something about, I forget what field they were talking about, or he was talking about, but something about taking somebody off the street, like to give them. Sorry, I'm just taking out my socks. Speaking of taking, got a bit warm. Taking somebody off the street and giving them work. Now, it wasn't super obvious initially when I heard that. I thought, oh, like a homeless person, and I thought, well, you know, here's the thing. Of course, if they're homeless, even though you know, and that's their journey and what's meant to be for them, you know, they should have a place. But without one, they don't have bills. Of course, food, but you know, there's lots of good people in the world that can help such people. But and where was I yesterday? Just wondering where I put that in the chapstick. Sorry. Um, it's just that I know that I just had it, and if I don't find it, the dog might, and you'll chew it, and I don't like when you, especially since the stuff inside. Okay, here it is. Yeah, so basically, I don't know which way I want to sit right now, but basically, yeah. I mean, so where was I though? Like you say, oh God, where I thought I would see them, possibly see some, and I don't mean to be talking about this in a uncaring way. It's actually the opposite, actually. But I didn't have a lot of money on me, but wanted to help them out or whatever. But yeah, be careful because some of them may not be safe. But I can't remember. I know I was a little bit further past my neighborhood than I often need to go and can easily get. I mean, I only went one place yesterday, and oh, right, that's right. Okay, right. So, but anywho, um, he may have just meant random person. What he was essentially saying is, uh, I believe he was saying, um, without training. Well, I think it'd be nice for a lot more places to offer better training. Uh, and sure, that might sound like, oh, well, then they just hire anybody, but they might actually be missing a lot of potential talent because they won't train. Not everybody can get a degree, whether it's financially reasons, whether it's other accessibility reasons, whether it's. I actually heard a quote from my high school days today. I could try and pull it up, but I'd fear that possibly the video would freeze or whatever. But and I didn't quite agree with it. And it's unfortunate. It was someone I kind of used to hang out with back then. Um, didn't know what I thought of them now, or at least the partner. But I'm thankful I did find my former a singer from the band I was in high school. I've been wondering about her. She goes by just her first name and a middle name, which is Marie. Makes me think of a couple other Maries I know. And actually, it wasn't the first time today I'd heard the name. Um, and I've been wondering about it. Anywho, so basically, and feel free to, okay, never mind. Some of that for a moment. But yeah, basically, something to the effect of I hear I forget, and any of us can forget things, and often remember as well. Sometimes the things we'd rather forget, right? But I hear I forget, I see I remember, I do I understand, or something to that effect. And in fact, I think it was pretty much exactly that. And I went to a high school that, and I mean, I don't know. I think that high schools these days have come a long way in being like this. Of course, I'm not in them, so I don't know. um, but the impression I get, I know that sometimes, I don't know about in school, but in general, funding for like music and arts and stuff like that can be a bit tough to get. I know I've done a couple recent videos about the film industry, and the Trump tariffs, or even into Canada, having some effect as to, I guess, funding for that. Um, I don't exactly know what it would go towards. I mean, often they like to feed the extras, and I'm not really sure. But anywho, uh, and that's always nice. Yeah, I got a burn. I was just noticing I got a burn on my thumb last night. It was so stupid. I took something out of the oven with one hand, and then my other hand moved forward and touched the bottom of and it was stinging for a little while. And this is also a remedy, I can tell you. Uh, tried to put something cold on it for a while. It was still stinging. There's still a bit of a mark. Sometimes it seems redder than other times, um, but what actually helped was the lavender oil, lavender cream. More of a cream that I used. Anywho, but yeah, so some people are more prone to that. It's just don't want my shirt to be distracting, but it's a good message on it. But are better off when they're shown and allowed to do and demonstrate. So we don't have anybody here right now, but I suppose I mean, because I do want to ask it for anybody who views this after the fact. Lovely Sunny sitting there with a violet. For anybody who views this after the fact, what are that's the question. What is a passion you've had in life that you would like to work in as a career, if you're not already doing so, and if you are, feel free to share that too. And your thoughts about the quote that I just shared, and something you'd like to learn more to be able to do more. Um, I guess at this time I could talk about the side topic that was mentioned in the description. I don't know whether I should or what to expect. I just heard a bit of a noise. I don't know what it was, and the dog almost heard it too. But yeah, I don't know whether I should talk about it, what to expect. It's also ironic because I believe it was just today someone I was thinking of. I know two Lukes that both start with the last name C. Both are into theater, and both were in a play together. And 8 years ago, and it was a zombie theme. I didn't go to it. It was a theater festival. I was around. I saw them all kind of. I saw the cast going to the venue or whatever. But the zombie apocalypse is. I guess there's more than one type of looking at apocalypse, and I'm not that. Even though I know I kind of post about the afterlife. I wouldn't necessarily say that's the same as zombie. But the and the reason why I mention it and why I also put it in this, and it's good because it allows me to roll a little longer, because I haven't done a video in a few days, and I guess I'm somewhat been missing it. But basically, well, he finished that fast, or didn't finish it, but hopefully he's going back to it. I think he is. Basically, the same guy whose video I was just talking about had posted something about, um, he said a couple things. One thing he said, somebody called him, I believe, a millennial, and he said he's 58. Like, he was saying they were wrong. And he said, hopefully I have another 20 years. And then he said, he does. And then he said, but I mean, honestly, none of us knows with life, right? That's the thing about it. But then he said that his dad was in his 80s. So he didn't expect to live as long as his dad, and he didn't expect to live past 80. And again, I know people can say things about the life expectancies or whatever. And it may depend where you live. It depends on so many things. I mean, people can pass away so many ways, and then it's also what your genetics like. I've never understood that statistic. But as far as the apocalypse, and I've actually seen a show in the same festival about that one year, or maybe even on a couple of occasions. As far as the apocalypse goes, um, Again, I'm not too sure how in depth I want to get in talking about it. Maybe get in as in depth as I do. That'll be good enough for me. And if you want to get more in depth about the topic, I'm sure you can find other channels that talk about it more. But my main thought about it is that um, when you look at things going on in the world and the environment, whether we want to talk about wars, whether we want to talk about pollution, whether so many things, um, it totally makes sense to think. And there is a part of me that says I feel like in some ways people are dying younger. Like I don't know. I'm sure it's not a new thing, but for some reason, and maybe it's just in my lifetime that I've kind of heard this. But for some reason, it seems like addictions are more prevalent than ever before. Um, Youth of today are different in some ways. They can be a bit more. I think anyway. Of course, I haven't really studied youth of the olden days a whole lot either, but I think they can be a bit more risky, risk taking. Perhaps I hate to say it, and it's not always the case, but not that bright sometimes. Um, so I mean, that can affect how long someone lives, right? Um, but um, I don't know. I just think that there's a variety of factors that can lead to kind of to you know the world. You know, I don't I don't study a lot about global warming, but when I think of the most recent seasons that we've went through lately, it's like it feels like there's signs of it. And I wouldn't doubt that the atmosphere and the sun are doing a bunch of things. I swear, a few years ago, I heard that there was talk about the sun might die or something. I don't know why this sounds familiar. Like it might just kind of shrink or something. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Anyway, point of the matter is, or it might just, brother. The reason why he didn't want to kind of believe in it is he felt it was doom and gloom, and yeah, I mean, I guess it can feel that way, but that doesn't mean that it. See, when people say they don't believe in things, often they mean they don't think it exists. And often that can come across as naive, I think. Like it does exist, whether you choose to believe in it or not, kind of thing. So, and some things are easier to prove than others, but yeah. So, anyway, I've covered these topics mostly as best as I want to, and there's nothing wrong with a shorter video. Like I say, I do. I mean, the dog's not being noisy because he's chewing on something. I'm not sure exactly where in the house, but something I gave him to chew on. Like I say, it's been a while, a little while. It feels like it's been a while since I had been making quite a few videos there since I've done one, and I guess I want to be a little social. I don't know. Um, Coming the coming days. Well, I mean, just gonna do a shopping errand tomorrow. Might find myself going bowling soon. I haven't bowled in a while, but and I feel mixed. And triggers is another topic, whether it's of our youth or people of our past, whatever. But no, I mean, it could be interesting. Um, it just we'd have to see how busy it is, how noisy it might be. Um, I think closest to us, what we have is a 5 pins. I think we accidentally a long time ago went 5 pin bowling unintentionally. It was like, oh, this is only 5 pin. Okay, well we're here now. We paid. We bought shoes or whatever kind of thing. Um, so it's here now too. But this is a laptop, so it's hard to point, and there's all kinds of clutter there. So never mind. But when they have an appointment, and then a phone call from your bro. Tuesday, I might be going to a group, and then I have a banquet in the evening, and then I'm fairly available. But we did just have somebody tune in, so welcome, and I'm available now as well. So, yes, and you left, but I did feel like maybe I should. Uh, I should. I mean, they're gonna think, of course you're available now. You're doing a YouTube video. No, I just meant because like I said, I have availability kind of mid to rest of the week, really, as far as I can see. Uh, but um, but yeah, I'm here doing this now, and I'm available. Um, I'd really like to. Not that I'm hugely tired. I actually feel fairly good today. I've been kind of fluctuating between not necessarily chills and fever, but just kind of feeling warm and then kind of getting chilly. We've had the AC started up again, and it's can get really cold pretty quickly. And then it's like, well, I just turned it on. I don't really want to get up and. What else was I doing? I was also watching Instant Grades, right? There was I can't remember a lot of details. Although one of the commenters, their grandmother had been on it, but one that I just saw, and I don't even know if I finished seeing it. It's just short little clips. And they were side by side too. I don't know because it wasn't the whole show that I saw, but it was like a mother daughter, um, side by side, got caught up. But yeah, I'm gonna roll till at least another 15 minutes, and we'll see if somebody tunes in. And I'm gonna just sit here quietly, silently, and quietly. I can't believe I've never combined those words before. Um, to see if I can think of what I want to say when they tune in. Just, I mean, not to sound silly or whatever, but I feel like I need to take a little bit of a pause, but want to keep rolling. So. That being said, didn't take very long for me to think that it's kind of like the title pretty much is what I'd be verbalizing, you know, essentially. I mean, you know, I don't remember exactly what it was. I should get in the habit of, I mean, I have a rough idea, but I should get in the habit of copying it, pasting it just in the chat area, though sometimes, unless it sends through, it doesn't stay there if you haven't, yeah. Um, but just so I can kind of look at it to make sure I'm remembering everything that I put in it, essentially. Um, I almost want to talk about a new product I bought the other day too. But then it's interesting. Even though it seemed like the pouch or the bag of the item wasn't that full, it was just like a food item. When I think about it, I think, okay, if it's 10 cents an item, there might even be a few free ones in there. Then but it's these cafe latte almond chocolate almonds. So. And I just heard another noise out there. I don't know what it is, but anyway. So yeah. I'd really love it if at least one person tunes in and I can help them out. I mean, I'm going to guess that most of the people that click into this video are people that identify with the topic and people that are looking for counsel, potentially employment counseling, to be more specific, but yet not trying to be super specific. So, I mean, just if you're not, you're welcome to be here and part of the chat as long as it's kindness and respect. I mean, if you have thoughts, I don't want to tell people not to comment. Um, but yeah, it's kind of like, yeah. Now, it's true that there might be certain types of careers that I'm more geared to helping people with. I mean, I know if you're in the States, and not just the States, but if you're in the States, the state of a lot of things, including probably employment. I'm in Canada, isn't great. I understand that, and if you can relocate, I know it's not always easy, but like if you can relocate out of the States, you might actually do yourself some good in doing that. Uh, but um, but yeah. Hmm. I just had an idea, although it kind of involves somebody that is employed. So they wouldn't. I know I just said that thing I said, but what I'm really wanting to do is try helping people. I guess a little bit more about me is I do have a fairly extensive background in this area, but but as far as learning and training and such, but I've not yet gotten work in it. And I mean, try me out and then decide. But I mean, like with anything, that I offer, I mean, the thing of the matter is that, and it kind of fits with that quote, sort of, um, is that we can learn in many different ways. So I've learned a lot throughout my journey, but I have not necessarily gotten um, what I would need to um, work for a place in the area. However, I could start my own business, but then it's kind of like, well, then you're best if you have a building, and then you have to be able to afford that, and then yeah, I don't know, Like I say, I'm trying to do some startup activities. This kind of being one of them. So, well, and actually, currently, I don't have a lot of ideas um, as far as that goes. But again, before anybody hearing this, says, "Well, I don't think this guy sounds like he knows what he's doing." Give me a chance, because I'm a very smart person, and I have, like I say, gathered a lot of knowledge, and yeah. If video is much more longer than this, then it's possibly that somebody has tuned in and I've helped them in action live. I know it's a bit of and if it's not, doesn't mean that I haven't. It just, well, or that I can't, just means that you haven't seen it in this video. But and I know it's a bit of an interesting way to do it, but I think kind of going with what I said a moment ago, it's kind of like, just trying to find ways. You know what I mean? Chapstick. So yeah, and the dog just finished his thing and it's laying now on the couch very nicely, so that's good. So yeah, people give me some. I mean, nobody's watching right now, so I'm saying it to nobody, but to anybody that sees this afterwards, I always got to remember those people because they do exist, and we know and I know because I've been that person. Largely, what I see online is actually not live. Um, on other sites, maybe a bit more so, but no, I mean, even when you click the live tab, I mean, I'm seeing mostly news or things. I don't know, things that I am not necessarily like when I click the live tab. What I'm hoping to see, and it doesn't really seem to matter about subscribers or anything with it either. What I'm hoping to see is like um, small. I don't want to say smaller channels, but like your average Joe or Josephine, no, like your average YouTuber, not because the idea is that I'd like to have a conversation with them, and if it's something that's broadcasted or too mainstream, and it's just streaming, the likelihood plus the amount of comments that they would get would probably be, so yeah, basically, yeah, I don't remember why I went on about that, but I did. So there you have it. um, but yeah, um, but I think that that's really cool. The back and forth conversations that can happen. Um, and as far as yeah, I wish I could remember why I said that. Why I said that thing about when I go looking for lives or whatever. Uh, I said that about how we've all been people that have something about we've all been people that have randomly come across a video, but I can't remember what my point was in that. There was one, of course, there was one, right? But oh, right. So I mean, and also I've noticed. Sorry, my nose just keeps getting itchy. I've noticed that, and I have the pointer there too. That yeah, the view count does go up. So, but my nose is distracting me. And it's such a just a moment. Here, see, Sunny. Here we are. Um, so yeah, so those people do exist. They are out there. Again, anybody that has any, and I don't seem to be coming across them in my with my content, so I'm thankful about that. Anybody that has any kind of negative or wants to be aggressive or whatever, this isn't the channel to do it on. I'll just tell you that much. And most wouldn't be, I would say, but as far as the topic, just to kind of bring it back around to that again, and maybe I will wrap this up soon and get back to what I was doing prior. Because yeah, that's the thing is like this was intended to be very viewer led, but that's the thing is that like I say, just because there isn't any now doesn't mean like I've seen things get views. Now I suppose I should also say, and then I also have noticed sometimes that it's inaccurate in what it tells, but sometimes it's not. But one thing I should also say is that um as great as it is that there's views, and I know I'm not the only YouTuber content creator that feels this, not just YouTube really, but I feel like that's where we see it more. But the views are cool. Likes and comments are even better. They're more specific. They're more that you're reaching people and they're liking what you're putting out there, right? But as far as I'm hoping the radio's not too loud in the background and that YouTube won't get mad. It's not very loud in the room at all, and I can't even tell if that's music or just an advertisement. Anyway, point of the matter being, just to kind of bring it back around with what I was talking about there. It's interesting because then to say, "Oh, maybe you were podcasting, that's why I couldn't reach you." I said, "Well, but it may have been upstairs." But yeah, I'm glad that I have thought to. Um, I don't know about that guy. The more from that guy's channel. Part of me wanted to comment to him and say, I saw this many many months ago, and it showed to me again. I decided to be curious. The YouTube channel name was a little bit weird, hanger, but and I'm still trying to decide what I think of the channel. And his voice reminds me of somebody's, and that triggers me a little bit. So that's the other thing. Sometimes somebody would tune in and they'd be like, "No, you remind me of somebody." Never mind. However, I'm not that person. So, but I get it. I do get it. But I challenge, and I need to do that challenge too. Sometimes I don't notice it all that often, which is really odd. You think I would? Well, I mean, because I have met a lot of people in my life, and sometimes connections don't work out. But I would challenge you to kind of sit with that and you can address it later or whatever, but realize, yeah, that I'm not that person, and that I may have something uh, beneficial beneficial for you here. But yeah, to kind of bring it back around to the main topic, and I feel like I've veered from something else in the last 5 or 10 minutes that I was saying, but um, yeah, uh, and if people have lost their focus, maybe they'll skip ahead a little bit to see what I'm saying. Then I think we all do that too. So hopefully you're hearing this, since there's nobody here at the moment. But basically, yeah. Again, I don't entirely know what else to say other than the title, without getting comments. But um, and there's a part of me that wants to be more specific and individualized than just making general statements. Um, and like I say, that also brings about conversation, right? And actually, it's interesting because from my hometown, I saw somebody with a kind of unique last name, although it might be common French, but I don't hear it very often, just like Pepin, actually. Papin. But that reminded me of somebody in a group I have for this, just online. It's not really all that active at the moment, but yeah. I hope. I guess I'll just round this out by saying that I hope when the comments uh, hopefully come later, come after as you're watching this, after you're watching this, and of course, I don't think I need to say it, but pause it if you need, so that you can work on your comment and then resume playing it and that. But yeah, basically, I hope I can help you find your passion, and that this isn't just into the if it's in the void of nothing, and that you weren't either. I hope I can help you find, what what brings your light, what puts brings your light back on, and help you figure out how to get to that spot once you've identified it. I think that's actually probably the hardest part for a lot of people, is they can identify what they want to do, but then both not know what to do to get there, also not getting opportunities isn't helpful, of course, and then they start to feel in despair and like they don't want to have those goals or try and reach for those things, and I know that pain. I know how difficult that can be, and I've experienced that in my life. And so I want to. I was just about to wrap up, but let's roll for a few more minutes, and hopefully the radio is not too loud in the background. But yeah, I want to help people that. Uh, and if it sounds like opera because I'm just thinking it does, that's not intentional. Okay, the person left. The radio seems like it's louder than it was moments ago. I don't want there to be a problem with it on in the background, and the person left. So yeah, don't be shy to put comments, kindness, respect, curiosity, openness, bravery with your hopes and dreams, and take care.